Oh, hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1319. Whew, we're getting up there in numbers. Today we're going to be talking about we're going to be reviewing Networking Riches 2.0 Day 1. This is a 2-day event. Today we had Day 1. It was amazing. I have to say, Casey with his coaches has done an awesome job of revamping Networking Riches. There's stuff that's been taken out. There's been new stuff added. He was telling us a lot more stories about how he got his start in Hollywood and about how he would network with people, about managing at the age of 20, managing an amusement park. I learned the difference between an amusement park and a theme park. I didn't know there was a difference, but there is. And it also got talking about creating leads for your business. Yes, there is networking involved, but it was a different type of networking. This was very, very business orientated. But it was a fantastic day. We got lots of participation. We had a great turnout. And I have to say, this was really one of the best Networking Riches I've ever been to. Yes, I know I have said that before because each one got better and better and made little tweaks here, little tweaks there. This was not little tweaks. This was major overhaul. So if you've been to Networking Riches before and you didn't come today, you guys missed out. It was off the charts. It was amazing. But the cool part is that we got to know Casey a little more. And for those of us who have been friends with him for years, we don't know you never know everything about everybody that you know. And, there's some things I know about Casey that I will never talk about. There are things that he has done that I didn't even know about, like how he ended up being on different movie projects and TV show projects, and how he got his start as a production with the production company that he had, how he got his start with that, how he sold had an amusement park, turned it around into this big revenue making thing, some of the tactics that they used at the theme park to get you to spend more. It was very, very interesting. And some of the things that he started that have become standard through other amusement parks around the US. So it was a really, really cool session today. I am absolutely exhausted. I have just got back from walking Zeffy. Mentally, I'm out. I'm checked out. I just want to go curl up on the bed and have a nap. But I do know I need to have food. So I got this lovely is it sirloin steak I got? I got a sirloin steak yesterday when I got my groceries delivered. So cooking that up tonight. But just been for a walk with Zeffy. Normally in the mornings, since the whole COVID thing, in the mornings, I get up, I do my morning stuff, and then I go shower, get dressed, and Zeffy and I go for our walk. By the time we get home, I have to take a nap. I have to check my calendar. Do I have anything coming up that I need to stay awake for? If not, I go set the timer for an hour, but it usually ends up being 2, and just go and sleep. And that gives me enough energy to get through the rest of today. I didn't get to get my nap this morning, so I've been running on event adrenaline because we had such a great event and everything else. And we did things so different from what we've done in the past. And I got to the end of the day, we got off, did the debrief, got offline and everything else. And I had to go get something to eat because I didn't have much for lunch. I did have a small amount of food for lunch and a protein shake. But I needed something else to keep me going. And then Zeffy kind of comes and looks at me and says, "It's almost walk time, Mama." Well, it still took her 30 minutes to convince me that we needed to go for a walk. I was just like, "Can I have something to eat first, please?" So I got some energy. And now that we're back from the walk, I'm ready to go to bed. But I know that if I go to bed this early in the evening, and yes, I know I'm on a whole hour earlier than normal, I don't even know if I'll be awake at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Which reminds me, Daylight savings goes into effect today. So remember that tonight. So for those of us in Arizona, even though we don't change our clocks, our times do change. Because it was that I would start at 9, the 8 a.m. meetings, I would start at 9 a.m. on Mountain Time because they were 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Well, now the Pacific is going into daylight savings. Now they've caught up to Mountain Standard Time, which is Arizona, because Arizona doesn't change. So all my 8 a.m. Pacific Time meetings now actually start at 8 a.m. So I'm kind of bummed about that because I did like having that extra hour in the morning. But I gain an hour at the end of the day, because instead of working on the mailbox chat from 1 to 5, I'm working on it from 12 to 4. Still the same hours, still the same time for those that are still on Mountain Time, but I get to finish an hour earlier. So if I want to go and check my mail in the evenings, I now have 2 hours after I finish on the chat to go to the mail. Most times it's been, I want to go get my mail this evening, and we finish up on the chat, and by the time I finish on the chat and I get ready to go, I've got it's past 5:30, and there's no way I'm going to get there in time for it to go. It's about a 15-20 minute drive, but it depends on traffic. You're in the rush hour and all of that, so it might take a little longer. At least now I can leave around 4:30 and know that I have an hour and a half to get there to get the mail. But yeah, so tonight we change. In Arizona, we don't change our clocks, but our time still changes. It's the weirdest thing. So if don't forget, if you are not in Arizona, and I think Alaska and Hawaii are the other 2 states that do not do daylight savings time either. So if you're not in any of those states, remember to put your clocks forward an hour. It is spring forward, so that you'll make any meetings tomorrow on time. And we had to remind all of the people at Networking Riches today to do that, because they'll spring forward, which means they'll be starting an hour later than they did today. That's right, isn't it? Spring forward. Should I start an hour late? I don't know. All I know is I'm starting an hour earlier. I start an hour earlier. Everybody starts an hour later. What can you say? But I'm really looking for. And today at Networking Riches, we had an amazing breakthrough zone. And if you have followed me, you know when it comes to Networking Riches, as much as I love the program, my favorite, all-time favorite section, hands down, above none, is the breakthrough zones, because you get to see people having light bulb moments. You get to see them getting big ahas. There's a lot of golden nuggets dropped during that time. That doesn't just apply to the person who is in the breakthrough zone, whose business we're helping. It can apply to all the businesses. So the coaching that you get, the coaching that is done during the breakthrough zone for that one person, can apply to any business. And if you don't think it applies to yours, instead of saying, that doesn't apply to me, or I can't do that, turn the question around. It's all about language, because language affects the mindset, and say, how can I make that work for my business? Or how can I do that in my business? How can I, instead of, that's not going to work, how can I make it work for my business? So, and that way your brain then gets into gear, the mind gets into gear, and it starts figuring out ways that that can be incorporated into your business. Not everything is going to be successfully fit into your business, but at least you've tried. That's the key part. At least you tried. You tried to find ways to make it work. Could not find ways to make it work. You even maybe sought some coaching. Maybe you have an accountability partner you work with that you brought the idea up with them. Maybe you did some brainstorming with them together, and there was no way you could make it work in your business. But at least you gave it a go and you tried. And that's what it's all about. Your biggest lessons in business come from your failures. And they're not really failures, they're breakdowns. So the biggest comes when you have a breakdown. You lost a sale. Why did you lose that sale? What happened in the sale process? Is there something in the sale process that needs to be tweaked? It could be, it just wasn't the right time for them. Okay, did you ask them when the right time would be so you can remember to follow up with them? So there's all sorts of things that you can do where you can take that breakdown and learn from it. I've had a lot of breakdowns. a lot of breakdowns, business, personal, but I keep moving forward because I want to make it work. I have goals, I have dreams that I want to come to fruition because it's going to leave a legacy. I'm going to be leaving a legacy behind for my grandkids and my great grandkids. So I want to make sure that what I do in business works. So it is going to create that legacy for my grandkids and my great grandkids, et cetera, down the line. Generational wealth. That's generational wealth or legacy wealth. Create it so that it's an income that keeps coming time after time after time. If you remember back, when was that? We had my friend Deborah Thorne came on, and she told the story of her grandfather who only had a third grade education, black man in the South with a third grade education back in the early 1900s, was a sharecropper, and he has left a legacy that his grandchildren are now being paid on. And we figured out at the time it was like 97 years since he had started putting money aside for this legacy, and then it was passed to Deborah's mom, who then passed it to her children after she passed, and so her grandchildren are still receiving money from stuff that her grandfather did back in the early 1900s as a black man in the South with a third grade education. So do you need to be educated to leave legacy wealth? Absolutely not. You do not need to have a college degree or a high school degree or anything like that to create legacy wealth. As long as you get around the right people and you have the right mindset and you're willing to learn and educate yourself in the discipline you want to go into, you can make things work. You can work magic. I mean, go and look at all the different business books that are out there, how people have come from nothing, all the different successful people who had basically they dropped out, and they may have dropped out of school. They may not have gone on to get a college degree, yet they created these multi-million-dollar businesses. There's so many business stories out there about people who have done this. They talk about their failures, and I call them breakdowns, because you learn from your breakdown, and that's when you have the breakthrough. And so breakdowns are good. Do not look on failures, breakdowns, whatever you want to call them. Do not look on them as something bad. Look on it as something good, because it's something that you can then learn from to keep moving forward. As long as you keep moving forward, you can get through anything if you keep moving forward. But that's it from us for today. Like I said, I'm exhausted. I probably just rambled for 13 minutes. I'm sorry. But if you still want to join us tomorrow for Networking Riches, just go to have2network.com, HAVE, 2network.com, and you can sign up there. And as soon as you sign up, you get an email with the link in for tomorrow's session. And tomorrow we're doing more breakthroughs. So I'm excited about that because it's my favorite part. I mean, all the other parts are really good information, really good parts, but that one is my favorite. Anyway, go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Go create some breakthroughs from your breakdowns. Instead of sitting in your chair and going, woe is me, get yourself off your butt, keep moving forward. If you need help, call somebody, and call somebody who can help you. If you have a breakdown in your business, call somebody who is maybe in the same business as you and is doing better than you, or even somebody who just has a business that will it's a concept. It's like when we do these the breakthrough zones, the stuff that we learn can be applied to just about any business. You just got to turn around and say, how can I make that work? So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here around 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Hei konera.